The phrase deliberative democracy has two words in it, deliberative and democracy. Part of the end process has to do with democratic process. The Jeffersonian notion was that democracy depends on an informed public. In Jefferson's time, the word informed included a great deal more than it does today, because it wasn't just information. It was judgment, wisdom, thought, all aspects that have been forgotten. Now, one of the differences, I think, between our work and some of the points Larry was making is that we make a fairly sharp distinction between dialogue intended to gain understanding, mutual understanding, and decision-making. Because I think that in dialogue needed to reach mutual understanding and come to judgment, you need to have a condition of total equality. When it comes to decision-making, the decision-makers have to re-enter the process, and it becomes a different process. So that confounding the two gets you into all kinds of problems and trouble. And so from a point of view of end product, the end product in the democratic side is to bring the relevant public to a state of public judgment rather than raw opinion. And it's the presupposition, the bias, if you will, is that that's sufficient to make democracy work, which I think is correct. That democracy can't work if it's based on raw opinion of the public. It can work if it's based on a thoughtful judgment that is the result of what we're calling deliberation, provided we use that term in the broad sense.
Thinking on this path of what are we missing and what worries me most, I think the missing piece is very similar to Peter's for me, and that is asking the theorists, not necessarily Dan and Carol and Jim, because they're practitioners in my book, but the theorists, I want to ask you, using deliberative democracy theory, I would like to know what I can use to actually shape on-the-ground action in the current context of real-time resources and time constraints. That is my burning question of the theorists. I would really ask the theorists about what they can tell me that I can take back on Monday. That I really want that.
Answer to the first question, what worries me most, utter irrelevance. That's my answer. But on this utter irrelevance thing, I mean, the question Susan asked just makes me feel worse about that, except at the same time, I mean, I think, in a way, I say as an admirer what you do, I think it's a slightly unfair question. What can I take away from Monday? Because, I mean, just a little, let me get personal here. When I started writing about deliberative democracy, which was in 1986, most people who are writing about democracy were not talking about deliberative democracy. So when I hear you describe what you're doing as an effort to create a more deliberative democracy, I think, I mean, I'm good to go. I mean, that makes my day. No, I'm being completely serious. I mean, I'm pretty completely serious. It's like, I'm being serious as much as I can be. No, I mean that, because I think what that tells me is that an idea, political ideal, that a bunch of people work to articulate helps you to explain to yourself why you're getting up in the morning and doing what you're doing.